if you read the Tanakh, actually the Brit's the same way, the New Testament's the same way, but mostly if you read the Tanakh, you'll see it's always incumbent upon us to make the move. He inspires the move. He will poke you, disturb your peace, cause you to ask, seek, knock, that kind of stuff. But he's expecting you to incline your ear. He'll open it, but you have to now incline it. And now that you have it opened and you're inclining it, he wants you to come to him. We approach him and then he comes to us. But we have to come to him. He knew about the same covenant? Oh, no, Rabbi, didn't you ever learn there was the Adam covenant and there was the Noah covenant and there was the Abrahamic covenant, and they're all different? No, they're not. Now, we have less information about the earlier ones, so we don't have all the details, but they're not different. Yahweh does not change. The expectations are always the same between him and us, human beings. Look, it all started with Cain and Chabel. He says to Cain, if you do well, if you do what's right, won't it be well with you also? Won't I be pleased with you too? Correction, encouragement. But some of you act like Cain. You want to get mad at the other person as if somehow, because Cain made himself look bad, not Abel. But instead of looking in the mirror, he wanted to blame someone else. Well, you made me look bad because you did it better than I did it. You did what was right and I didn't. Pointing the finger, transferring the blame. He says, no, all of this here in chapter 55 up to this point is you need to own your stuff. You know, I've been saying a lot of this for a couple of years now. We as a people, especially the men, we need to aim higher. Now, a lot of times I'm talking about it kind of in a life coach point of view about getting your finances fixed and your careers kind of maybe elevated. But really, it's because his stuff is higher. So we need to aim higher. That's where his stuff is. All of us need to aim higher. That his righteousness might be revealed then in you. Also, what will be revealed is that he was right. Because some of you don't really know that he's right. Some of you are in the process of learning it. Some of you are almost there because it takes experience to recognize that he said it, you tried it, it worked, he's right. Again, he said it, you went and gave it a shot, it worked, you realize, hey, he's right. Some of you tried the other plan. He said it, you weren't sure about it, you did it your way to blow up in your face. I don't know that we can say that enough for us to understand the idea of guarding. The next time somebody calls me and asks me some question about some of these things Torah-wise that have to do with, well, is it okay to do this or is it okay to do that? I'm going to ask you, which one of them represents guarding? I may just say that to you. Choice A or choice B? Because they'll say, well, do you think it's okay to do this or not? Okay, well, if you do it, would that be guarding? Or if you don't do it, would that be guarding? Because guarding is a whole different level than keeping, observing. It's a higher level. Anybody of any background who chooses what pleases him, he's going to have a great spot for you. Don't worry what your background was. Don't worry about the abuses you went through. Don't worry about your childhood and all the other awful things. Don't worry about the stupid, bad, and maybe even literally evil things you did. If you have now chosen to do what pleases him, that's what makes all the difference. That's where redemption is. How many of you were in church and had that quoted to you lots of times? They forgot to mention the part that this is for the guys in verse 6. The ones who are what? Serving him and guarding the Sabbath and not profaning it and holding fast to the covenant. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're in the new covenant now. Well, then don't quote the house of prayer thing to me. That house of prayer thing was connected to the old covenant. So unless that covenant is the same one being renewed, you're dealing with a whole different set of parameters. See, but that's not what they do. They claim what they want and ignore what they want. I think sometimes that we do because of the same way we deal with our marriages. I think the same way we also deal with our covenant, which is like a marriage covenant. That we don't understand that we should be really paying attention to what he offers and what he expects. He says it very clearly. Ask the people, this is his proposal. Ask the people if they're willing to do what I say, in exchange for me taking them as my special people. That's what he says to Moses. Go ask them. That's my offer. And we read later that means that they would have no problem with births. They'd have no problem with war. They'd have no problem with strife. Their crops would grow without any problem. They'd have plenty of rain. All these things that he promised that he would take care of. They'd have all this abundance if they would agree to obey. We're going to be helpmates. We're going to figure out what he wants and help him do it. Not that he needs our help. He says he can raise up rocks, but he gives us the opportunity to help what he's doing. So find out how we can help. How can we help? We can take care of the poor. We can treat each other a certain way. We can walk this out and be the light. We're not helping him by knocking on doors and going and bothering people. He wants you to help him by living it and people seeing you live it and being attracted to it. Do you not understand that that's our role? He says, I wanted to put you, Israel, on the hill as the shining light that people would see and say, wow, what's going on there? I think I want that.